Welcome to my channel all about civil engineering. Today we will discuss about the road maintenance. When a road is constructed is open to traffic, its various components are subjected to wear and tear. Certain defects may also creep in due to the faulty designs and improper quality of construction of roads. If these defects, wear and tear are not rectified time to time, they get deteriorated and may lead to unsafe, uneconomical and inconvenient movement of traffic. Hence, maintenance of roads is essential to provide safe and smooth movement of traffic. Maintenance is intended to keep the pavement structures in serviceable conditions as best as practicable as long as possible. Poor maintenance of road is not only harmful to the traffic using it, but it is also harmful to the road itself. Poor maintenance may cause large number of accidents. Maintenance are of three types like routine, recurrent and periodic. Routine maintenance does not depend on traffic level. It consists of grass cutting, drain clearing, maintenance of culverts and bridges, etc. Recurring maintenance depends on traffic level and consists of patching and grading of roads. Periodic maintenance consists of surface dressing and overlaying at intervals of greater than 1 year. General causes of pavement failure. The following are the causes of failure of any pavement. So, in first, bad quality of construction material, faulty design and improper quality control of construction, inadequate road drainage systems, increase in wheel load, settlement of fill material of embankment. Failure of flexible pavements. The localized deformation or settlement of any one of layers of flexible pavement leads to failure of the entire pavement. The failure in flexible pavement may be due to subgrade failure, base course failure or wearing course failure. So at first, subgrade failure. The excessive deformation in subgrade soil is one of the main cause of pavement failure, and this type of failure causes excessive undulations of waves and corrugation in the pavement surface. As shown in the figure, the basic reasons of subgrade failure are inadequate stability due to improper compaction or presence of excessive moisture in the soil, excessive stress applications, inadequate road drainage. Then base course failure. Following are the main types of base course failure like inadequate stability, loss of binding action, crushing of base course material, lack of lateral confinement of base course and insufficient varying course. Loss of materials from base course, inadequate road drainage. Next, varying course failure. The failure in varying course is mainly due to the following reasons like lack of proper mix designs, use of inadequate quantity of binder, use of inferior quality of binder, inadequate quality control and volatilization and oxidations of binder. Typical flexible pavement failure. Some of the typical flexible pavement failure are mentioned below. Like map cracking. This is the most common type of failure of the bituminous surfacing and occurs due to the local weak spots in the base course and fatigue of the materials. Longitudinal cracking. These cracks are developed along the length of the pavement. This type of pavement failure is caused due to the different volume change in subgrade, settlement of fill, sliding of side slopes, frost action. Shear failure. Heavy loading and weakness of pavement mixtures are mainly responsible for shear failures of the pavement. The shear failure causes upheaval of pavements materials by forming a cracking or fracture. The shear failure is shown in the figure 8.5. Next, consolidation of pavement layers or rutting. These are longitudinal depressions that form due to repeated application of loads on the same portions of road, and this is mainly due to the consolidation of one or more layers of the pavement, and this type of failure is shown in figure 8.6. The frost heaving. A localized heaving up of the pavement portion is called frost heaving. In shear failure, upheaval portion is followed by a depression, but in case of frost action, localized portions of the pavements are lifted up. Figure 8.7 shows failure of pavement due to frost heaving. Potholes. These are bowl-shaped holes of various sizes in the pavements. These are formed due to slipping of surface coarse materials when the surface course is not properly keyed with the underlying base course. This type of failure is more common when the prime coat in between two layers is lacking. Figure 8.8 shows the formation of potholes. Pothole formation is frequent in cases where bituminous surfacing is provided over the existing soil cement base of cement concrete base. Reflection cracks. These cracks are developed in bituminous surfacing laid over existing cement concrete pavements, and the cracks pattern on bituminous surfacing are the same as existing in cement concrete pavement. The strength of the pavement is not influenced by the presence of reflection cracks, but these cracks allow surface water to percolate into the underlying layers and cause damage to the soil subgrade. Figure 8.9 shows formation of reflection cracks. Failure in cement concrete pavements. The following are the main causes of failure of cement concrete roads. First, poor quality of materials used in the mix, poor workmanship during construction, poor joint filler and sealer material used, inadequate pavement thickness, incorrect spacing of joints, inadequate subgrade support due to poor subgrade soil, inadequate curing. The various defects that creep in due to the above are poor riding surface, spalling of joints, cracking of slab corners, development of shrinkage cracks, mud pumping, widening of joints, settlement of slabs. Typical failures of rigid or cement concrete pavements. Some of the typical failures of rigid pavements are as follows: scaling of cement concrete, structural cracks, mud pumping, shrinkage cracks, warping cracks, spalling of joints. So at first, what is scaling of concrete cement? Scaling of cement concrete. Scaling shows overall deterioration of the concrete, and this defect is due to the deficiency in the concrete mix or presence of some chemical impurities which damages the mix. During construction, due to the excessive vibration, the cement mortar comes to the top, which gets abrated with the use and exposing the aggregate of the mix, and this makes the pavement surface rough. Next, number 2, structural cracks. The prime reasons for the structural cracks is inadequate pavement thickness for the amount and type of traffic. The cracks generally developed near edges and at corners. Third number is mud pumping. So what is mud pumping? Through defective joints and cracks, water percolate into the soil subgrade and soften it. Due to repeated traffic movement, soft patches get settled and small initial spaces are developed under the slabs. Further percolation of water forms soil slurry which starts ejecting out through the joints and cracks of concrete pavements. This process of ejecting out the soil slurry through joints and cracks under the action of wheel loads is known as mud pumping. The pavement cracking due to mud pumping is generally a progressive type of pavement failure. The factors which cause the mud pumping are amount of free water, type of grade soil, and extent of slab deflection. Shrinkage cracks. These cracks are developed in the concrete pavement due to inadequate curing after laying of slab. And these cracks develops in longitudinal as well as transverse direction. Warping cracks. If the joints of concrete pavements are not designed to accommodate the warping of slabs at the edges, excessive stresses are developed resulting in cracking at the edges in an irregular pattern. And these cracks do not cause any structural defect if proper reinforcement is provided in the longitudinal and transverse joints. Spalling of joints. If preformed filler materials are placed at an angle at the time of casting of slabs, an overhang of the concrete layer is formed at the top, and this joint edges later on shows excessive cracking and subsidence from traffic action. Maintenance of bituminous roads. The maintenance works of bituminous road consist of patch repairing work, surface treatment, resurfacing. So, patch repairing work. Patch work is carried out when localized potholes are developed in the surface of the road, and repairing of potholes are carried out in the following stages. At first, cutting of potholes, then cleaning the potholes, then preparing premix, and then filling the premix. Then surface treatment. So what is surface treatment? A bituminous pavement becomes slippery and patchy due to the bleeding of excess bitumen used during construction in the surface course. So defects like rutting, sowing and corrugations develops in such pavement surfaces, and such a trouble can be rectified by the spreading blotting materials like aggregate chips of maximum 10 mm size of coarse sand. Rolling is also done to develop the permanent bond between the existing surface and new materials, and the binders in the bituminous surfaces also gets oxidized due to aging and developed minute crack in the pavement surfaces. Such surface can be rectified by applying renewal coat or seal coat. If the damage to the surface due to oxidation or volatilization of binder is considerable, more than one layer of surface treatments may be applied. Resurfacing. When the pavement surface is totally worn out and develops a poor riding surface, laying of an additional surface course on the existing surface may be more economical. Resurfacing operations consist of clearing the road surface, applying the seal coat, applying aggregate chips and rolling. Formation of waves and corrugation in flexible pavements. How the waves and corrugations are formed in flexible pavements. Poor subgrade condition, poor mix, defective rolling, unstable underlying layers, and some remedial measures for waves and corrugations. There are many types of remedial measures for the waves and corrugations. Once the waves and corrugations are developed in the road surface, there is no way to improve it unless another layer of concrete course is provided after laying a leveling course. But these defects again creep in if the proper investigation for the basic reasons is not done and proper remedial measures is not taken. And if the failure is due to the weak subgrade soil, then stabilization of subgrade soil is done to improve the strength characteristic of soil. And if the failure is due to the instability of underlying layer due to excessive moisture content, suitable subsurface drainage is provided to remove the defect permanently. If the failure is due to improper compaction of the lower layers, then complete reconstruction is needed to remove the defect. Maintenance of cement concrete roads. So how the cement concrete roads are maintained? First, cement concrete roads need very little of maintenance if they are properly designed and constructed. In this type of roads, the main defects is formation of cracks. The cracks developed in the road should be seriously examined and causes are ascertained before any remedial measures is suggested. Treatment of cracks. How the cracks are treated, right? The common defects noticed in the cement concrete road slab is the appearance of cracks, and cracks can be structural cracks, construction cracks, sinkage cracks, warping cracks, and corner cracks. The cracks are of varying width. Fine cracks or hair cracks are not harmful and do not need immediate maintenance. Medium and wide cracks are harmful as they can cause progressive destruction of the subgrade by allowing the water to percolate. These cracks are first cleaned by removing dirt, sand and loose particles using stiff brush, a sharp tool or by a pressure blower. Kerosene oil is applied on the cleaned cracks for proper bonding of sealing material. Cracks are then filled with liquid bituminous materials like bituminous emulsions, cutbacks or joint sealing compound, whose basic ingredients is bitumen, and this sealing material is placed up to about 3 mm above the level of the road slab among the cracks. A layer of sand is then spread over it to prevent the removal of sealer under traffic. Maintenance of joints. A weakest parts of cement concrete pavements are the joints, and most of the failure in the cement concrete pavements are observed at or near the joints. And therefore, the periodic inspection is to be done to see that the filler and the sealer materials used in the joints are intact. During summer, the sealer material is squeezed out of the joints due to expansion of CC slabs. During winter, the joint gaps opens up due to the contraction of CC slab, and the open up joints are cleaned properly and refilled with joint sealer material. After several years of pavement life, the joint filler material at expansion joints may get damaged. And this damaged and deteriorated filler and sealer materials are removed from joints, and these joints are then cleaned and fresh filler material is placed, and the top is then sealed with sealer materials. The best time to do this type of maintenance is winter season. Maintenance of shoulders. Shoulders give lateral support to the pavement and provide room for vehicles when crossing and overtaking on narrow pavement. If shoulders are not properly maintained, damage may occur to the pavement as well as the vehicles using the road. Shoulders are properly maintained to keep them stable, smooth with proper cross slope and in level with the edges of the pavement. In India, shoulders are mostly constructed of earth. Shoulders of earth need periodic attention, and proper maintenance of cross sections and cambers are the key to successful pavements performance. During rainy season, shoulders are generally damaged and large pits are developed. These pits are immediately filled with soil and compacted where road is constructed on high filling. Side slopes of filling should be protected by pitching or turfing. Maintenance of traffic control devices. The main object of providing traffic control device is to provide safe and convenient and an economical movement of vehicles and persons on road. Generally, road signs, markings, traffic signals, and traffic islands are used as traffic control devices. The periodic maintenance of these devices is very essential to avoid any kind accident, and the maintenance of road signs and road markings is done by painting it as and when required for the proper visibility of these markings and signs. For maintenance of traffic signals, the traffic signals lights are cleaned time to time to remove the dust, and any defects in the light system is rectified. Painting and repairing of Traffic islands are carried out as a part of its maintenance work. So thank you, and subscribe my channel all about civil engineering for more videos.